back to the Freak Show. Bumpy McSquiggums here. I want to thank you all for joining me as I continue with my Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity. And I told her, that's not the pistol. Meh. We're going to go into the inn, but I'm probably going to go in a different way. I don't know why, I just feel like I can and want to, so I'm going to. So yeah, we're going to head into the inn through the upstairs door, I guess, which is a thing that exists completely. And there's really no reason other than it just happens to be there. So, there you have it. There you have it. There's a black hound over here. Hello, black hound. The hound stares intently at the covered window. Head cocked as if waiting to hear a particular sound, it looks up when you approach and whines a low note, wagging its tail slightly. Aw, doggo. The dog's tail thumps happily against the floorboards. Aw, I feel bad about the doggy. Oh, it looks like there's a bunch more of the backers here. Let's see what Deslok Nagetep has to say. As you step near, reach out, you see a man soar through the air. Hitting a nearby wall with a nauseating crunch, he doesn't get up. His attacker, a burly, clean-cut warrior with a carnivorous grin, turns and shoves his fist into the stomach of another assailant, removing another from the impromptu brawl. The bar is a whirlwind of elbows, knees, fists, and feet, with no end in sight, and he is in his element. In the corner, three smaller men speak quietly, throwing malicious glances at the larger man in the center. He breaks a chair over a tattooed head, cackling. The trio position themselves in three parts of the room. With a terse nod, they charge. Unfortunately for them, the man sees them coming. Something in his eyes burns brightly, and all three of them slump to the ground in agony. That's all in their minds. The burly man bows to a room of unconscious and incapacitated before sauntering out, off-key whistle trailing behind him. Okay. And then we got Shane Shakes Molrian, I guess. You see an emaciated boy in chains, black holes for eyes, staring sightlessly at a wall. A man in a dark coat walks in, a scroll and an oddly shaped quill in his hand. The boy glances at him expressionless, a corpse waiting for animation. The man clucks at him, disapproval clear in his tone. The boy stands, limbs hanging. Lovely. The man takes the quill and begins to write on the boy's chest, copying sharp, angular symbols from the scroll. The child doesn't flinch as the quill digs into his skin, drawing blood as it goes. The wizard finishes with a flourish and barks some arcane command, setting the symbols to glow dully. The boy cries out, hitting his knees hitting the stone hard, his chest burning black and red. Finally, the glow disappears, leaving only hard black scars etched into his skin. He slumps sideways, twitching, eyes facing the back of his skull. I thought he had no eyes. Wait, what? Black holes for eyes? Okay. The wizard grunts, kicking him on the leg on his way out. The boy lies on the floor until dawn, eyes still black like holes. The twitches growing into convulsive shakes. Does that just mean like his pupils are severely dilated? Not like his eyes were missing, he just had like eye sockets? I don't know. Either way, it's all very disturbing. As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of the soul, blah, 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 blah. You see a long, empty road cutting through two large crop fields. The air is silent, and the land seems too still for early afternoon. The woman walks slowly on the road, leading a horse, curiously looking around. She seems to sense something wrong, but is unable to discern what it is. She stops, sniffing the air, her nose high. Her brow crinkles, and she casts about looking for something. The air is clear, no clouds. She sniffs again, looking around, confusion clouding her face, mouthing a single word, fire? She looks out across the fields, her confusion turning to fear. She holds up a hand to block the sun from her eyes, and scans the fields again. Not finding what she is looking for, she jumps onto her horse's back, the fear quickly becoming panic. She kicks, sending the horse shooting down the path, which bends around some trees where the farm should be. She pulls up short, horror now in residence on her face as she stares at the burned and charred mess that used to be her family's home. Tears well in her eyes as she kicks again, racing to the rubble. Oh, you guys have a lot of really depressing backstories. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of sad. Alright, so if we steal here, that's bad. So we probably shouldn't do that. An inn guest here. Please leave me be. I am full to sickness with what I have seen of this place and its people. Looks like I can steal a book from you, though. The 10 Years of Dawn. Sorry, I just came to get that book. I left it here like 6 months ago. My apologies. Sing us a song, Blissa. For the last time, I don't know any dwarven drinking songs. I'm from Logholm. Ha! You were right. She does get rosy cheeked when she gets angry. Oh boy. All right, what's inside here? A thing that we can totally pick. Yeah. I don't think we can do that. And then over here, the Deerwood Part 1 Early Colonial History and some lockpicks.
I'm here.
Alright, let's go down the stairs because there's not much else to do up here that I know of. Maybe there's like 30 things that I'm already missing, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out as we go. I'd really like a frontliner. Right now, I guess I'm sort of a frontliner, but Strom Brightblade. You see a group of young men standing around a makeshift practice target. The man stands in the middle of them, explaining the construction and use of a bow. He holds it up, pointing out each part as he speaks about it and what it does. He then walks away from the target, telling them to remain where they are, and takes his place about 200 feet away. He carefully lines up his shot, explaining what he is doing as he does it, and he lets the arrow fly. It hits the target dead center, much to the surprise and the delight of the boys near it. He smiles, walking toward the boys, talking about proper stance and how to most effectively hold a bow. Noise comes from the tree line near the practice venue, and he stops, scanning the woods, blue eyes squinting against the sun. A shadow moves, making its way through the forest behind them. He draws an arrow, lines up the shot, and carefully tracking the motion of the hidden creature. Loosing the arrow, he wastes no time and quickly grabs another. The boys spin, watching the arrow fly into the forest, immediately lost among the trees. There is a sudden explosive movement in the undergrowth as a deer erupts from the tree line, running across the edge of the clearing. The boys laugh, turning to joke with the man about his lousy shot. They stop talking, seeing him hold his bow and leading the deer with a knocked arrow. They drop to the ground as he looses his last arrow, which flies true and strikes the deer right behind its shoulder, piercing the heart and lungs and dropping it dead almost immediately. The boys stare at the deer for a few seconds and then slowly turn to look at the man. Newfound respect in their eyes, he smiles again and breathes a quiet sigh of relief. And Selena Vertivo. Sure. You see a woman emptying her satchel onto the bed, taking stock of her inventory. Potions, bandages, tinctures, and herbs are scattered throughout her room haphazardly. She bites her lip and her head tilted to the side, considering. She begins to repack one item after another, careful deliberation undercut by shaking hands. Each item has a clearly marked place, but no matter how she repacks it, she isn't satisfied. The shaking worsens as she empties it out once more, one hand held to her mouth. Tears eke from her eyes as she gives up all semblance of order and shoves everything she can in the satchel, grabbing it and running out of the bare house. Straightening her back, she walks to the docks, chin high, eyes hard and red. A gangly young elf offers his condolences, but she can't see him for the ocean ahead of her. She wanders the docks, offering her services as a doctor to any who will listen, anyone heading out on the high tide. Less than an hour later, she watches her childhood disappear in the distance, a tiny speck of an island, and tries not to jump. Well, that's weird. Lots of books. The Fangs. Alright, what's this? More free stuff for us. There's an Orlon server over here. Hey, buddy. I just carry the dishes. You'll want to talk to Pasca at the counter there. Oh yeah, Pasca or Pasha.
Welcome.
Thank you. Hello and welcome to the innkeeper looks up. Oh, it's you. Tenfrith told us about what you did for him. That's such a relief to have him back. I can't thank you enough. Consider yourself a favorite of the house. Discounts and drinks, rooms. Tenfrith said he wanted to whip up something nice for you. He's already back to work in the kitchen. She laughs. So what would you like? Well, I'd like to know more about the Black Hound. Oh, that's cool. We just got party experience and quest experience. Nice. Really? Well, I'm assuming it's the same. Well, let me see. The actual building's been here for years, but the Black Hound's fairly new. We get a lot of new faces in here, too. Fewer than we used to, I'll admit. 10th of the big draw. I'm sure we'll get the big crowds back again in no time. I used to work the tables, actually, until the old owner up and left. Nobody's sure what happened to him. He left his poor hound behind. That's the name. See, the Black Hound? It's still upstairs. It's still sitting upstairs, pining after him, poor old girl. Place ended up in my hands somehow, she laughs. My very own inn. A lot of hard work involved, but it's been worth it so far. Please, sit where you like. Would you like a drink or a room? We have 2 available at the moment. I'm afraid we can't offer you much by the way of a good meal today, unless you're fond of cold porridge. Can I see what you have for sale? I'm sure you'll find something you're liking. We have the finest cook in the Deerwood. I personally would prefer to sell some stuff if I could, but I don't actually see... Oh, there it is. Okay, so it trades like that. I wasn't sure anymore. It's been a while. There's another thing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not 100% sure what I should be keeping and what I shouldn't be keeping. So I'm going to try to keep kind of like one of everything and then sell extras. That's my plan moving forward. Whether that actually works out, well, that remains to be seen. Okay, we have a lot of spears. We have a lot of hunting bows. Crossbow, tons of daggers. I'll probably keep 2 daggers. Short sword. Is that another hunting bow? It is. Okay, I think that's fine for that. Sell most of these things. A lot of leather armor. It's weird, they're all kind of leather armor and they're all kind of different. Like these, lower speed recovery requirements. Okay. Different hats and stuff. That's okay. I think I'll keep most of this stuff actually here. Yeah, I think I will. That's fine. Alright, let's trade. Do you have that much to trade me? I guess so. Okay. There we go. It looks like we are... I should probably stay the night, too. Hold on. I'd like a room. Certainly, you're always welcome. And it looks like we can go with the common room. We don't get any extra bonuses. However, there are extra bonuses we can get otherwise. We'll rest here, though. That's totally fine. Uh-oh. Your sleep is restless and fevered, assaulted by hisses and whispers, blanketed with a suffocating anxiety. You open your eyes to awaken, and you find yourself in front of Gilded Vale's gallows tree, the creaking of its ropes growing louder in your mind until the sound is deafening. Hanging from the tree is an old dwarf woman whose face is shriveled inward like moldering fruit. Her head hangs limply to one side. As you look at her, she looms larger and larger in your mind until it is mere inches from your face. She's mere inches. Suddenly her head snaps up and her eyes open. And they are empty, and behind them is a vast nothingness that makes your stomach drop. Her mouth slowly parts, and with a gust of rancid air, she speaks a word. Watcher. You jolt awake, the foul smell of the dwarf woman's breath still permeating your nostrils. Sweat runs down your face in thick droplets, and your skin is soaked from head to toe. You remember the woman. You remember seeing her decaying face when you spoke with the magistrate. He called her an animancer. Though it fills you with a new queasy apprehension, you feel a strange compulsion to see this woman once more, if only to confirm she is truly dead. Well, that can't be great. Well, we're rested up. Let's go ahead and do our level ups now. Okay, we have 7 points left to spend. I'm going to say lore. Well, I kind of feel like all of them are going to be useful. I'm going to go with lore and survival this time. Next time I'll probably go with lore and stealth. Next. It's like we have class unlocks just a whole bunch of different spells, which I am all for, and we're done. So I guess we got like tier 2 spells, I'm assuming is what that is all about. Let's see what Aloth has here. He's got a lot of lore. A little bit of mechanics. I'm fine with that. And he's got class unlocks too. He's got 2 spells that he can learn. Let's see. Creates a bizarre and perplexing visual distraction, confusing enemies in the area of effect. I don't feel like I need that one. Combusting wounds. Now, corrosive siphon. Eats away at its spirit, and I think it heals. Yeah. So we're going to do that, and then isn't there... Yeah, the necrotic lance. I think I'm going to get that too. These are actually things that we got in the preview or first look or whatever you want to call it of Pillars of Sneak Peek. There we go. The sneak peek of Pillars of Eternity 2. These are 2 of the skills that I picked up. So good stuff all around. Our wizard is feeling the love. Alright, let's go in the back and talk to Tenfrith, because he likes us, so we saved his livelihood and possibly his life. Ah, it's you, my savior! He makes a sweeping gesture to indicate the kitchen around you. It's so good to be back. Do not think I will let this go unrewarded. I have decided that you have earned the right to learn one of my most closely guarded secrets. My dearest recipe. After this, you will eat nothing else. The party has gained the recipe for the savory pie. A savory pie to keep you hale and hearty. May it serve you well in your travels. Well, I feel like we accomplished a fair amount. Let's get out of here then. Onward! I'm not sure how we were able to use the door that far away from it, but I'm not going to complain too much. Okay, well, we're in fast mode still. We need to go back to the tree. However... No, I guess we will. We'll just go back to the tree. Why not? I don't remember what happens. Like, I'm really excited to be playing this again because I really enjoyed it before, and it's really cool to be able to see it again. No, I don't think you should go there first. I think you should go there first. There we go, buddy. The squat, distended body of an elderly dwarf woman dangles from a thin, crooked bough that sags at the tug of her noose. The bloated purple flesh of her neck, worn away in patches like moth-eaten linen, bulges over the rope that suspends her. Her lifeless head lolls forward rigidly, from one side to the other when the breeze shifts. You perceive a faint glow around her that casts no light on its surroundings, but there is a tepid warmth to it. You feel somehow that you could reach out and touch it, not with your hands, but with some aspect of yourself that has no worldly dimension. Let's reach out. You take a deep breath, clearing your mind, focusing on your objective. As you exhale, you feel yourself spreading out toward the hanging woman, perceiving all that lies between you and her with new, unfamiliar awareness. Once you've expanded enough to reach her, there is a sudden jolt to your mind, a ringing, electric surge of images and words and sounds. Involuntarily, you shut your eyes and feel yourself being pulled down to some deeper consciousness in a space occupied only by you and the hanging woman. And when you open them again, she is staring at you with eyes clouded in a milky fog, her body still swaying in a wind you can no longer feel from a tree that stands planted in a misty void. The woman gives you a slow nod of her head, the rope creaking as she does so, and she smiles at you.
Have you come here for me, dear? Or have you gotten lost?
Her eyes squint as she peers down at you.
It is both, I think. Yes?
How are you able to speak to me?
Is that what we're doing? Perhaps it just seems that way. Perhaps it is the easiest way for your mind to make sense of it. I think it is a very good choice.
Caldara moves her tongue around in her mouth as if testing it. She gives you a motherly smile. Hopefully you guys are okay with me reading like the verbiage text, if you want to call it something like the action text, not specifically what they're saying. after they get done talking. I try not to interrupt them too often. Hopefully that's okay, so you can at least see, like, she started with Kadara moves her tongue around her mouth as if testing it. Is that what we are doing? Perhaps that's the way it seems. Perhaps it's the easiest way that your mind will make sense of it. And then she gives you a motherly smile. I think that's a very good choice. So I'll just read those things afterward. Hopefully that's okay and it doesn't confuse or anger anyone. And if it does, you guys can just send me your hate mail. It's okay. I need to understand something that's happened to me. She nods, a look of pity on her face, as though consoling a child.
The world looks a little different than it used to, is that it? Feels like you're noticing things for the first time that have always been there?
She nods.
You have seen past the shroud. It only takes an instant. Your soul remembers, yes? Remembers how it sees when it leaves the body, like being reminded of a dream you had forgotten.
She nods again.
You are a watcher now, and a watcher you will stay.
What's a watcher?
What indeed? Long hours have many animancers spent studying such things. Not I, though. Not I. I'll tell you what I know, though, since fair is fair. And here we are, visiting, you and I, and it reminds me of better times.
Weird.
Souls pass on. Some say through Audra stones, which are the blood veins of the world. They leave the world for a time and are reborn into it, sometimes more than they were before, but usually less and seldom the same.
Interesting.
For all souls there is a time where they do not live, yet have not passed on, and those souls roam the world, same as you or I, either leaving or lost.
Huh.
But no one sees them because they have forgotten how.
Sounds bad.
A watcher sees, though, knows what to look for. And sometimes they know a person just by looking at them, know where they've been in ages past when their bodies were other bodies. See memories even their owner can't recall. A wonder to behold when all goes well. A wonder.
Huh. Am I imagining this?
No, I think not. A pity that. It would be simpler. A mercy even. To not have to wander anymore, no? Alas, we are here, you and I. Wherever here may be.
She considers for a moment, looking down at her own limp body. Her tongue clicks and she shakes her head. Well, what did you mean when all goes well?
Oh, nothing to be afraid of, I'm sure. It's just much to take in for some. Sometimes there's trouble sleeping or other difficulties.
She smiles at you reassuringly, fanning out a tuft of long whiskers that sprouts from one of her cheeks. Okay.
You should see old Meerwald. He could tell you much more than I. A watcher just like you. Helped many in his day. Took up in an old keep no one would claim. Not far, not far. Kadnua, beyond the Black Meadow. He will welcome the company.
Okay. Mirrorwald. I'm trying to think if I can remember that name. I'm not sure. An inspired gleam crosses her milky eyes. I think I survived a Beowick. Do you know why that would be?
Did you now, dear? My, that would be something, wouldn't it? Could be luck, could certainly be. A storm can be a careless thing.
Caldara appraises you with a scholarly interest for a moment before resuming her cheerful demeanor.
Or maybe it got its hands around your soul but couldn't pick it up. A soul can be heavy if it stayed in one piece through its time. Strong souls, we call them in the trade.
The trade?
Cold, I mean. Called them. Those days are all behind me, no?
She smiles sadly at the thought. You said souls break apart over time?
Oh, yes. Entropy. Rimagan's work. We know little of why or how. We lose pieces of ourselves when we die and pick up pieces of others when we are born again. but less than what we lost. We tried to stop it with the animantic sciences, but with little success. No.
Huh.
A very small few resist Rimergan's influence and stay together through some force of defiance, at least for a time. But they all succumb eventually, I think.
She clicks her tongue. Well, I want to know something about you, I guess.
Me?
She shakes her head in protest.
I'll bore you to tears, though.
Who are you?
And here I thought you'd come to visit me in particular. Caldara de Baranzi, of the Valian Royal Academy of Animantic Sciences. Not the greatest of their number, but I came here all the same because this was where help was needed.
She breathes a mild sigh, sending a small beetle skittering from inside her cheek. Lovely. Her arms turn outward stiffly in what must or might be a curtsy. Well, why are you dead? She laughs, a rasping, choked cackle escaping between rows of buttery yellow teeth, causing her body to bob up and down with each spasm. Seeing your blank expression, she catches herself.
Oh, come now. Such a question. As though the answer were plain as a rope tied for strangling. Allow an old dwarf her last bit of cheer. Well, I came where I was needed, didn't I? Offered my services to Lord Radric for a pittance. A humble pittance. I was to examine the Lord's wife, see why the gods have seen fit to poison her womb. Studied her for months, looked high and low for impurities, tested her valence, the permeability of her essence. Do you know what I found?
I do not.
Nothing at all. A healthy woman, head to toe, blessed with a beautiful soul. Such a sweet woman, too. Meek, but warm-hearted.
She shakes her head.
A few months' time, and the lord of the house demanded answers. For a time, I told him what he wanted to hear. Oh, yes, my lord. She is riddled with imbalances. I must have time to cure her. As the birth drew near, he grew impatient, as lords do. And this is where I've ended up.
Alright, well, what exactly is an animancer?
A student of the soul. Something so basic, yet so poorly understood. But so many breakthroughs have been made in my lifetime. Had been made. Had been.
She chuckles.
To hear the locals tell it, we're a gang of soul manglers that preys upon the weak-minded. And the worst of us are.
That's fair.
But the best of us? The best? Inspirations. Miracle workers. My parents were soul twins. Miserable before they met, empty inside. It was an animancer who helped one find the other. Turned their lives around.
Huh.
You wouldn't believe the stories. Amnesiacs helped to remember their lives. The suicidal brought back from the brink of oblivion. The elderly afforded extra moments to say their goodbyes. How soon we forget when we're afraid.
Interesting.
It's a fascinating science. A fascinating time to be alive in a place like Deerwood that does not control the research, no? I love the Valian Republics for many things, but their recent caution will leave them behind, I fear.
Well, I had other questions.
Of course, dear.
And my other question is, bye!
Goodbye, my dear. It was lovely visiting.
Caldara closes her eyes and her head slumps forward over the news, and your surroundings seem to bleed into your vision from some unknown place of waiting. A player named Gus was granted the Crucible of the Soul. What? Ah. Okay. Aloth looks through you with narrowed eyes. Are you alright? You seemed lost just now. Yes, I'm fine. He folds his arms. That's good to know, but I don't suppose he could tell me what that was all about. I'm a watcher. His arched eyebrows recede into his hood. Well, that's interesting. He gives you a sly grin, and I expect that explains how you survived the Beowick, In any case, I appreciate your honesty. Since we're traveling together, it's probably wise for us to share these things. Well, do you know anything about the Watchers? Well, only that they are rare and that they seem to have unique insights into certain soul conditions. As you just demonstrated. Well, let's continue on. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this episode. We are a Watcher, and we can apparently talk to dead people and other things that involve souls and dead and past lives and all sorts of other weird, horrible things. So yeah, creepy times are abound. We are quite spooky, and I guess that's okay. Alright folks, until the very next episode, my name is Bumpy McSquigums. Thank you so much for stopping by the Freak Show, and I will see you later.